Hello, everyone. How are you today? I'm super excited. I don't know that his microphone's on and I can't see his video, but that's okay. Oh, there he is. Martin Rafferty. Yes, I can hear you. We're good now. You're awesome. On. So he's the Chief Executive Officer and founder of Youth Era. I'm so excited to have you share how you are activating and empowering youth around the world for mental health in just a really unique way that we can all learn so much from. So I'll hand it over to you and looking forward to hearing more from you.
Thank you so much, Catherine. And I want to jump right into it. We don't have much time today, and I want to give you as much content as possible because my hope with this presentation is that maybe some of the ideas of what we've been doing in the last year during COVID will speak to you, and you'll copy them and use them to do excellent work in whatever the field you're sitting at. So I want to show you a quick video about Youth Era, and there a little bit of a trigger warning. We talk about school shootings. Youth Era is a international nonprofit now, but one of the things that we started to do in early 2014 was respond to these incidents. So that's mentioned, and there's footage of children walking, but there's nothing, no violence or anything like that, but just a little trigger warning for that. So let's play that clip. The mental health work that we're doing, and that's primarily what Youth Era does. We're a youth engagement organization, and we were founded to work primarily in mental health. But then what we started to realize is that mental health is not this thing that is in a silo. You know, we think that in the next 10 or 15 years, the general public is going to start understanding that mental health is something that every single person needs to account for, just like we have with physical health in the last 3 decades. And so we know that stigma is still alive and well today. And so we have to make sure that everything that we produce is not only good enough for the young person that we're reaching out to, but we like to think about reaching out to the social circle of the youth. So anything that we produce, anything that we do, we're thinking about, is this good enough for the young person to like it, but is it good enough for them to go onto social media and share with their friends? As I'm talking, I'm going to ask Brian, who's behind the stage here, to show you a time lapse of where I'm standing, and that production value is going to come through a little bit. So I am standing in a dome, and we built this thing in order to facilitate a online virtual event that we call Uplift. So Uplift was a program that we created with the University of Oxford. You know, it's been a year. The anniversary just came up. Youth Era staff are looking towards what we feel like is the real anniversary for young people. And the real anniversary for young people is going to be the moment that they were told you can't go to school, the moment that they were told that we're locking down. And we know through trauma research that a year after an event is when most of the needs of young people are requested. So when you're looking at school shooting responses, we know that the amount of young people who request support actually start a year later. Some young people request services sooner, but when you're thinking about resource planning, you have to actually go a year out and say, this is going to be the peak. So we know that that date is coming. In the state of Oregon, we already see that happening now with young people reaching out in record numbers. But back in the beginning of the pandemic, we saw a huge need. You know, these young people were pushed into an impossible situation with schools that were in an impossible situation. None of us had ever lived through a pandemic before. None of us in the history of humanity has ever had the opportunity to be able to facilitate online learning at this level, right? And so schools were doing their best, right? There's no way to be ready for this. But the truth is that for a lot of young people, especially young people who were already struggling before the pandemic began, they did not have the tool sets to move through this, either socially or through their education. Our teachers are reporting that a lot of our young people who were doing very well in school are falling back, right? So these are things that you all know, right? But we were facing these problems very fresh. And so Oxford reached out, they did a global search. And as I understand it, they weren't even sure that they were going to work with the youth organization. They were just wanting to find any kind of advertising agency or content producing organization that could do something to help young people right now. Mental Health of America recently put out a survey and found that young people are reporting that what they want, what they're asking for, are skills to help their peers. And if you've been in the peer movement, you know that that's been a fact for a long time. So do we have the uplift video ready? Because I want to show you this video now.
I'm talking about Uplift 2020. Can you believe it? Let's do this. Let's go. It's time to jump into the state of mind that is needed for today.
Just buckle up and get ready.
I think this is amazing. I'm so excited to be a part of this.
We're going to teach you how to connect with your peers to help through this crisis. And you know what? After the crisis is over, those skill sets are going to help you do whatever it is you want to in life.
Each person walks through the world in their own way.
We are going to be our future selves, and we are taking it on.
It was just great.
Right exactly where I'm meant to be at this point in life.
The first group of uplifters have already led school assemblies, saved lives.
We have grown into this massive 360 production to give you the best virtual experience.
I'm telling you, there's no one else that holds the passion and the truths that you hold.
This all starts with you. These are challenging times, and we need you to make the difference. So that was just some visuals, and I love that video, and it's a great representation of what Uplift is. And the truth is that when Oxford came to us and they gave us an incredible opportunity. They said, let's create a way to help young people right now. And we're like, well, we have this project going with these child psychiatrists, and we got funding from this national child psychiatry organization to do something called Twitch streaming, which if you don't know what Twitch is, you should look into it. They have events on Twitch that get more viewers than the Super Bowl, and young people are on Twitch. That's a social media platform that they spend a lot of time on. But that wasn't quite right for what was happening with COVID. However, when you look at the history of Youth Era, we've had 10 years of online experience. And so we created Uplift with those 10 years. But the challenge is that we had 3 weeks to create it. And when an institution like Oxford comes and asks you to do something like this, and to do something to help young people who are in crisis right now, that's a huge opportunity. It's also a huge challenge when they say, we're going to study the results. Normally, programs that get studied have at least anecdotal evidence. People saying, oh, this is great. We didn't even have that because we had never ran Uplift before. So that study is coming out on May 1st, or around May 1st. They're very pleased with the results. We were very pleased with the results. And what happened next is we did a second study. And so what Uplift is it's a 5-day, 4-hour-a-day event. Don't call it a school, Zoom school. Don't call it anything else than an experience with music, elements from Twitch. So every time that we came online in the morning, you saw Mike dancing, and you saw the young people dancing along with him. We were attempting to figure out how we could make the screen feel less like a screen and more like a genuine human interaction. And a lot of professionals, when they hear 5 days, 4 hours a day, our youth are sick of Zoom. There's a Stanford study talking about why. And I was excited when that study came out because the reason that we built this dome here and the reason that we put so much focus in creating what the underlining construct of Uplift is it's fast-paced, right? We use music, we use movement, we invite young people in to that environment, and that's when we start teaching about peer support. I want to give you one example of what peer support in a program like Uplift looks like. Because even in the field of youth peer support, I think that the idea of naturalized peer support is something that isn't being executed a lot, right? And with Uplift, we know that our program had to take really big ideas and put them in a format that young people felt comfortable spreading, comfortable understanding. We wanted to create a program that empowered these young people to spot distress in their peers and then what to do at that point. And this is very different than a peer support specialist, someone who's integrated into the system. I mean, as a matter of fact, this study was happening in a country that we've never physically been in at Youth Era. And so we were challenged to put those pieces together. And I'm going to give you an example of one of those concepts. So many of you have heard of the phrase vicarious trauma, something that we all face if we work with people, if we're leading people out of darkness. And it has tie-ins to self-care, but vicarious trauma is very, very specific. When you're thinking about adolescent learning, and you're thinking about what empowerment actually is, we saw a few seconds from that video earlier, you know, empowerment's not about saving people. Empowerment is more of a restoration process. And so we have to take these concepts like vicarious trauma and make it relevant and make it fully comprehensible, right? So we renamed vicarious trauma and we called it the secret keeper effect. What is the effect on someone when their friends are giving them secrets? Some of the secrets might be dark. What does that do to someone? right? And that sounds really simple, but the effect of that was that we had these young people going onto Instagram, making fan accounts of some of the concepts of uplift, and talking and making memes about the secret keeper effect. And that was the lightning bolt. It's like, yes, we were able to take a concept, free it from all stigma, all of the clinical jargon, and give it to the young person in a way that they felt like they could spread that message out without any interference from us. And so it was through the understanding that these concepts that we've been talking about youth engagement, about making sure that we stay away from over-clinicalizing concepts, that Uplift has been so successful. But any event, any product that you're launching with young people, ask them, bring them in. Uplift was a product of multiple youth advisory boards, right? Where we talked to these young people about what they wanted. And when Oxford came to us and said, let's do a second study, we replaced all of our staff who did the direct services of Uplift with youth who had gone through the first study. And that was even a more powerful experience. And so what I'm excited about, it's been a very dark year. What I'm excited about is that some of these concepts, when it really mattered, some of these concepts have been pushed beyond being a talking point or a nice idea. And when 2020 happened, those concepts, they worked. So keep asking your young people, your clients, the people you work with, if these programs are working for them, what they need, how they're doing. Continue to reach out. People in your life, young people, old people, they need you to reach out right now. Remember that the trauma effect of the 1-year anniversary is real. Thank you so much. And please visit us at youthera.org. You can see some of the videos that we wanted to share today but didn't have time. And thank you so much.
Martin, thank you so much for joining us today. I mean, the energy that you put into mental health and just, the feeling when watching that video, it's not the typical mental health training that we've been hearing for so long. And this is so critical, especially for youth. If we want youth to get active about their mental health, we've got to create content and material in a way that works for them and with them. And you've been just so innovative in this space. And it's really been amazing to see it transform and grow. So thank you so much for all that you're doing. I can't appreciate it so much. So yes, go to youthera.org or upliftpeers.com to learn more about Martin and his work and their team and all they're doing.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Have a wonderful day. On to our next.